Welcome to the Building a Strong Team video. My name is Scott Vaughn. I'm with Community Development Unit of Alberta Culture, Multiculturalism, and Status of Women. Before I begin, I'd like to mention that the goal of this board development video series is for board members of nonprofit organizations to have the basic skills, knowledge, and tools to be successful in their work. We realize that some of you are not board members, and that's fine, but we want you to be aware that the information, concepts, and ideas presented are from board member perspectives. Also, the information presented here is aimed at an introductory level or refresher for board members to ensure they have the base level understanding of board governance concepts and principles needed successfully to do their work. I would also like to mention the toolkit. We do have resources that we can share with you in our toolkit. In the description of this video, there's a link to our toolkit that provides additional resources and links that we think are helpful for you and your nonprofit organization as you tackle your governance issues and the like. Included in this toolkit is also a copy of the slides we use in this video and all the videos in our board development video series. The last thing I want to mention before we get going is that in this video, we are not providing advice. The information offered in this video and the related materials are not intended to constitute legal advice in any way, the rendering of the legal concepts, consulting, or other professional services of any kind. We simply want to share with you the information that we think will be helpful for board members as you navigate your organization through its governance and operation. So without further ado, let's get going. By the end of this video, we're hoping to be able to explain the characteristics of high-performing teams and identify and address the root causes that prevent boards from building strong teams. So let's get going. A high-performing team, as defined by Katzenbach and Smith, is a group of people with complementary skills who are equally committed to a common purpose, performance goals, and approach for which they hold themselves mutually accountable. Key aspects of this definition: complementary skills, equally committed, common purpose, goals and approach, and being mutually accountable. So here's a little overall characteristic of strong teams. There is a clear unity of purpose. The group is self-conscious about its own operations. The group has set clear and demanding performance goals. The atmosphere tends to be informal, comfortable, and relaxed. There is a lot of discussion in which everyone participates. People are very free in expressing their feeling as well as their ideas. There is disagreement, and this is viewed as good. Most decisions are made at a point where there is general agreement. Each individual carries their own weight. Criticism is frequent, frank, and relatively comfortable. And leadership of the group shifts from time to time. We'll be speaking to some of these characteristics in more detail coming up. So the first one we want to speak to is a shared sense of purpose. A common, more formalized way boards define their common purpose is through their organizational objects and their foundational statements. Remember, the objects are those short statements of the ultimate purpose of the organization. Beyond objects, foundational statements include an organization's mission, why do we exist, their vision, what impact do we hope to achieve, and values, what behaviors guide our decision-making. Drawing out this shared sense of purpose through our objects, vision, mission, and values discussions among board members is a way to build a team and focus on the ultimate impact the organization hopes to achieve. If you seldom have conversations about these, then you're missing opportunities to clarify the work of your organization, but you're also missing opportunities to build a strong board, organization, and team. Because it starts right there with conversations around why do we exist? What impact do we hope to have? And what behaviors guide our decision-making? Assuming everyone knows this clearly when they join or have been members is often a mistake that organizations can make, and certainly also miss an opportunity to build a strong team with those important related discussions. So the shared sense of purpose through why we volunteered. There are different reasons why people join boards. Understanding the motivation and skills individuals bring to the team, the board, can help in many ways. It can gain insight into the perspective individuals bring to the group. You can use the skills, knowledge, and experience of others in meaningful ways to make a difference. And you can engage board members in meaningful activities and discussions. Volunteer board members often have a number of reasons for joining and serving on a nonprofit board. Understanding the motivation of each person can identify common themes around related that are all related to a shared purpose. Harnessing talents and balancing roles. In addition to knowing why someone joined your board or team, it is helpful to know the skills and talents everyone has to make the best use of them. If we take the time to learn about these qualities, it helps us identify gaps we may need to recruit for, or learning opportunities we might want to undertake as a board to build up those skills. If someone has an interest in something, but is not yet skilled in the topic, it could be an opportunity for growth. Mentoring someone to build their skills is a great way to build a team and also helps in succession planning. So developing a skill interest inventory of your board is a good thing to do. There are resources out there to do so, or you simply can do it yourself by designing some related questions to attain the information from board members. And this also, again, keep in mind, we need to learn what motivates us, and we need to find out the skills and talents we all each bring to the team. And from there, we can look for opportunities for development. Maybe there's a chance for job rotation in the organization, taking advantage of those skills and talents and what motivates us. There might be some, project work, perhaps even the chairperson doesn't necessarily, maybe we have a rotating chair. Sometimes other people can take on that role, not just the chair. And we look for leadership opportunities throughout our board and our organization. So we want to use the talents and interests we have to increase engagement and build a sense of team in our organization and in a board. There are a variety of processes and structures that help us be efficient as a team. You'll likely include a lot of these in your practice already, but here are a few examples. Agendas. They help us prepare, share, and approve agendas, gives us focus for meetings. We all know what's going to be discussed today, so agendas are very important. Minutes. How we record, share, and approve minutes. We have a record of what we said we're going to do, which increases the commitment that is going to be done. Terms of reference. It's often provided for committees of the board, how the committees are going to operate, the scope of their work. We are clear on the expectations for those committees as a result. We have rules to guide decision-making. So there's a shared understanding on how decisions are made in our organization, how we'll play in the sandbox together towards making those decisions. And we also have defined evaluation processes for ourselves, for our team, for our organization. Clarity together on a board on how we are going to evaluate our work, our impact, the difference we make towards our purpose as a board and as an organization, and are working together as a board and as an organization. So let's take a look at communication in high-performing teams. In addition, effective communication among board members also helps build a strong team. There are whole day courses on this topic. I'm sure a few of you might have attended a few in the past. We're going to speak to this simply by saying this. Effective communication includes not only what we say, the message, but how we say it, the delivery of the message, and how we receive the message, how we listen and respond. For example, to try to get clarification on a topic at a meeting, there's a good way to do it and a not so good way to do it. A good way to get clarification and further needed discussion on something at a board meeting is to say calmly, help me understand, insert why is this way, or versus a not so good way of angrily saying, I want an answer for this. Communication also includes, when we take looking at electronic methods, we communicate by email, by text, by Skype, by online meetings, websites. So there's lots of different communication tools. There might be message books or notice boards that some organizations have in their facilities, or ways they do it even online. We communicate through team meetings. There might be regular check-ins that we do with our board, with our organization. So the recommended thinking, we need to link the message with a tool that we think will be most effective for whatever it is that we might be doing. Rules for meetings. On any team, it is important to know the rules of the game. In organizations, the rules for meetings often go by the following names: meeting norms, guiding principles, ground rules. As boards accomplish much of their work in meetings, it is essential that meetings go well and the team functions smoothly. If we think about a sports team, for example, they have playbooks or rules they follow so everybody's clear on what is expected of them. Similarly, it is helpful if boards develop rules to guide their meetings, discussions, and decision-making processes. So some of the things that rules also help with when used effectively is that they also help towards full participation. Everyone has a voice and gets to participate in the discussion and decisions of the organization and of the board. Mutual understanding and efforts to ensure we understand each other's viewpoint. It also helps towards that. Inclusive solutions. We have the benefit then of understanding diverse viewpoints, helps us create solutions supported by the group. And there's also a shared responsibility that results, which links back to our collective role as a board to look out for the best interest of the organization. Code of conduct. Another board tool for building strong teams is a code of conduct. A code of conduct lays out an organization's expectations and guiding principles for appropriate workplace behavior. And this relates to board, to staff, to volunteers, to members. A code of conduct policy should be designed with consideration for your organization's values, the clients you work with, and the service you provide. It should be driven by the fact that your organization's reputation and work environment are based on the actions and behaviors of your employees. They provide guidelines. A code of conduct provides guidelines for acceptable behavior, for emphasizing use of good judgment. And they also often require compliance with all applicable legislation or in code of conducts. They provide examples of prohibited actions or behavior that are regarded as misconduct in the organization. And it may also specify the consequences of those violations. And also a code of conduct can be helpful to refer to other related policies. So especially some of the big policies you want to be highlighted. For example, handling of confidential information, harassment, and conflict of interest. So some of those other supporting structures that we have in our organization. Role clarity, understanding the organization culture, values, and ground rules helps everyone know and perform their individual responsibilities. If everyone performs as hoped, it can go a long way to building a strong team. Three structures that further define these individual and collective responsibilities include, position job descriptions, a team charter, committee terms of reference, and other common structures have in place include things like job and position descriptions. Let's take a look at the first one, a team charter. We've seen groups use it before. It combines a number of elements into one document. So in a team charter, you might have some things that speak to roles and responsibilities of the board, of the staff, of the organization, of the key people in the organization. A team charter can also speak to vision, mission, and values, committees, managing conflict. As many boards use committees to tackle much of their work, a terms of reference is another useful tool to help ensure everyone knows their responsibilities and to whom they are accountable. In our toolkit, and there's a description that we have of a terms of reference there. So let's take what if we have all these structures and processes in place that I've just been talking about before, code of conduct, team charters, job descriptions, all those things, but we still struggle. Sometimes the efforts to build a strong board or team are hampered by deeper, more systemic challenges. Then what? Yeah, digging deeper is what you need to do. And one of the things you can do is acknowledging our elephants. Digging deeper is about identifying root causes to issues, challenges that are preventing our boards, organizations from being strong teams, especially in those areas that arise time and time again. Not all problems with teams can be resolved with processes or structures. Sometimes we need to acknowledge the human side of the issue. Often we know that the elephant in the room, the key obstacle in the way, we may know it, but for various reasons, we may not feel comfortable in identifying it. So what are some of the possible root causes of dysfunctional teams? Well, it then ties into lack of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability, and inattention to results. For example, we may know silently, not saying much about it, that as a board, the biggest obstacle we face is that we consistently fail to carry out or move forward the action items we identify at meetings. We all talk, but not much individual board member or board as a whole commitment to doing the part or seeing the parts that need to be done. But unfortunately, we just keep having meeting after meeting this way, no acknowledgement or questioning why work isn't getting done between meetings, and mounting frustration within the board and from staff and volunteers and members who are seeking direction from the board on these key matters is mounting and growing bigger. Nobody calls out the lack of commitment of board members, the elephant in the room, that is the root cause, the starting point that needs to be addressed first to move forward before things get worse. If you are the brave person, though, who does decide to bring out the root cause issue, do keep in mind you need to do it in a way that reflects the things we learned a few slides before about communication in high-performing teams. Effective communication includes not only what we say, the message, but how we say it, the delivery, and how we receive the message, listen and respond. Perhaps delivering the message in a calm way that says, help me understand how, if we continue to not do the work we're saying we're going to do between the meetings, that will help us move forward as an organization to do the things we want to do. You might even say further, seems like we need to address that first before we tackle other things that will also likely highlight the base problem that we have. We, our board, are not doing the work we're saying we're going to do between meetings. Addressing the root causes can help us build a strong team, but we're often, though, nervous or unsure how to proceed. A strong board has a supporting organization or board culture to help be able to safely speak up and acknowledge an elephant. They know that the cost to the organization by not addressing the root cause, the elephant, is far greater than not doing so. And growing board frustration of having to deal with the same problem again and again, or even worse problems ensue. So what are some ways to show support and build trust? We talked about how important trust is in an organization. We need to allow time to discuss different individual perspectives and find shared values, commonalities. Remember, the shared sense of purpose, you really need to get to know your board, your staff, your organization. We need to lay the groundwork ahead of time so when you tackle the difficult issues, there already is some base understandings and appreciation of what each person brings to the table. We need to develop a culture of open communication. What is said publicly should match what is said privately. This may be included in a code of conduct, but even having a conversation together as a board or an organization is worth the time in an agenda, and at some point, especially early in your time together as a board if you're a new board. You need to provide opportunities for joint problem solving, sharing work, and learning. There is nothing like seeking opportunities for board members to work together on tasks to appreciate what each person brings to the board, but also more importantly, enhances the building of trust and showing support for each other. Harness those skills and talents that we spoke about before that each person has. If they have the opportunity to utilize them, demonstrate them, that further leads to showing support and building trust. Act in the way you would like to see others act. Share your concerns, listen well, give constructive feedback. Once again, remember the importance of how the message is delivered. Find opportunities for social contact. Coffee, meal before or after meetings, recognizing birthdays, check-ins, check-outs at meetings, all those things on the human side, really recognizing the importance of the human, the value that each person brings, that we really, really like each person on the board, in the organization. Encourage team responses to individual problems. Perhaps a board member has a challenge for example, getting to meetings because they don't like using public transit at night. Offer solutions as a whole board, such maybe as another member picking them up beforehand, or maybe they join via online. So that's all about a couple examples about encouraging team responses to individual problems. Share and celebrate achievements and show appreciation. Wow, this person has been a board member with us for 5 years. Let's celebrate that milestone. Maybe a gift card, lunch, standing ovation, they share a few words, etc. So those are some ways to show support and build trust. I'm sure that you can think of a few more. Again, still moving and digging deeper, one of the things we often have to do is acknowledge our realities. In addition to confidence and trust, we face other realities. And these include difference in style that we have in our organization, personality, motivation, values, skills, and experience. We may also acknowledging realities around board member turnover, frequency and duration of our meetings. Perhaps we're an organization that we don't meet that often. There could be some other realities that we have to acknowledge. So again, if you only meet a few times per year for a couple hours, how strong might your team be? Think about your model of an effective team. Consider the time and effort put into that team, recognizing we can't all do that. We can't all be there. We all have our different amount of times that we can provide to the organization might be different. Sometimes we just have to recognize that. One idea you could try is host a few more meetings maybe up front so your team forms faster, gets to know each other. Improve recruitment to find a great fit in terms of skills and talents needed on our team. So these realities present challenges for our teams. What we can do to overcome some of these challenges, well, it might depend on which stage your team is in. We're not going to talk too much about this, but the stages of group development. The Tuckman model from a number of years back is also helpful in understanding some of the deeper challenges we may come across in our boards organizations. You may have heard about the phrase forming, storming, norming. This phrase is rooted in Tuckman's framework. The base of the model is that groups naturally move through a number of different stages in their development. They specifically are named in order of forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning, transforming, as you can see on the slide. For more information on the stages of group development, please refer to the article of stages of group development in your toolkit. And that'll explain in more detail about the whole idea of the stages of group development and understanding that boards do naturally go through some of the stages that you see on the slide. Okay, folks, that's it for building a strong team. I just wanted to mention our CDU Community Development Unit resources that we have. You can see that on the slide. Our contact information is also in the toolkit. If you are in Alberta, you have a question and you need further information or would like to request our services, you can contact us through email and phone. You can also access our website as well. And if you want to be informed of our future services and resources, you could add your email to our subscription form and you will receive information about all our services and resources as they become available. So thank you for all your attention and take care, stay healthy, and always remember that our communities have so much and more because of everything you do as a board member in the communities. Thank you all, and bye for now.